After the coalition collapsed, Sun Jian returned to his southern homeland of Changsha, a hero in the eyes of his people. But he carried with him a dangerous secret, the Imperial Seal of the realm. In his hands, he held the symbol of heaven's mandate, the legitimate right to rule all of China. This object, which should have been his greatest asset, became his greatest curse. The other warlords, especially the powerful Yuan Shao, knew he possessed it and demanded he surrender it. Sun Jian's refusal marked him as a traitor in their eyes and painted a target on his back. His ambition, fueled by the seal's power, would soon lead him down a path of no return, forcing his hand into a war he was not ready for. In a bid to expand his territory, Sun Jian launched a campaign against his rival in the neighboring Jing province, Liu Bao. He fought with his customary ferocity, pushing Liu Bao's forces back again and again. But his aggression made him reckless. Lured into a trap in the treacherous terrain of Shan Mountain, his army was ambushed. Sun Jian, leading the charge as always, was cut off from his main force. Pinned down by a relentless volley of arrows, he was finally crushed to death by boulders. Rolled down from the cliffs above, the Tiger of Jiangdong, one of the bravest heroes of the age, had been killed not in a heroic duel, but in a desperate, anonymous trap. His army was shattered, and his family was left defenseless. The death of Sun Jian left a devastating power vacuum. His eldest son, Sun Si, was only 17 years old. He inherited his father's title, his father's ambitions, and his father's enemies, but he did not inherit his father's army. With their leader gone, the veteran soldiers had scattered, and the Sun family's territories were quickly seized by their rivals. Sun Si was a general with no soldiers, a lord with no land. All he had was a handful of his father's most loyal, retainers and a reputation that was yet unearned. He was forced to take his family and seek refuge with the powerful but unpredictable warlord, Yuan Shu, trading his pride for their survival. Yuan Shu, a vain and ambitious man, had long coveted the Imperial Seal. Sun Si, desperate and brilliant, saw an opportunity. He approached Yuan Shu with a daring proposition. He would trade the legendary seal, the symbol of the emperorship, for something far more tangible. He did not ask for wealth or titles. He asked for soldiers. He requested only a few thousand troops to reclaim his father's old lands. Yuan Shu, blinded by his dream of becoming emperor, readily agreed, believing he had gotten the better of the bargain. He had traded away a few disposable soldiers for the ultimate symbol of power, never realizing he had just armed the very man who would soon eclipse him. It was the greatest gamble of Sun Si's life. With his new army, Sun Si's first move was not to a battlefield, but to the home of his childhood friend, Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu was a man of immense talent, a military genius and a refined scholar who came from a powerful local family. The two were sworn brothers, their bond as strong as that of Liu Bei and his kin. When Sun Si laid out his plan for conquest, Zhou Yu did not hesitate. He pledged his loyalty, his family's wealth, and his own strategic mind to his friend's cause. This reunion was the true founding of the Kingdom of Wu. With Sun Si's martial charisma and Zhou Yu's brilliant strategy, the two young men were a force that could conquer the world. They were the sun and its brilliant light, ready to dawn on the south. With Zhou Yu at his side, Sun Si unleashed a campaign of such speed and ferocity that it stunned his enemies. He was a master of the blitzkrieg, using his small, elite force to strike at the heart of his opponents before they even knew they were at war. He crossed the mighty Yangtze River and swept through the region of Jiangdong. He personally led every charge, his bravery inspiring fanatical loyalty in his men. City after city fell to him. Warlords who had ruled for years were toppled in a matter of weeks. He moved with the speed of a wildfire, his reputation growing with every victory. The south of China had never seen a conqueror like him. He was not just taking land, he was forging a nation in the crucible of battle. But Sun Ji's genius was not only in warfare. Unlike the tyrants and marauders who plagued the land, he understood that a kingdom is built on the loyalty of its people. Wherever he went, he enforced strict discipline. His soldiers were forbidden from looting or harming civilians. He overthrew corrupt officials and replaced them with talented, honorable men. He listened to the needs of the common folk and was known for his generosity and his charming, easygoing nature. The people of Jiangdong, who had suffered under inept and cruel rulers, welcomed him not as a conqueror, but as a liberator. He was winning their hearts and minds, building a foundation of popular support that was stronger than any fortress wall. His growing fame attracted the best and brightest talents in the land. Great warriors and wise advisors, disillusioned with the hypocrisy of the northern warlords, flocked to his banner. They saw in Sun Ji something new, a leader who judged men on their ability, not their family name. A conqueror who fought for a future, not just for personal gain. In a remarkably short time, he had assembled a court of loyal and brilliant followers who would become the pillars of his new state. He was not just winning battles. He was building a government, a culture, and a legacy. The land his father had lost was now reclaimed, and his own domain was 10 times its size. The boy who had traded away the Imperial Seal now had a real, thriving kingdom of his own. In just a few short years, Sun Ji had achieved the impossible. Starting with nothing but a few thousand borrowed soldiers and his own indomitable will, he had conquered the entire Jiangdong region, a vast and fertile land of rivers and lakes. That would become the heartland of a new power. He had avenged his father and secured his family's future. His charisma, speed, and military genius earned him a legendary nickname, the Little Conqueror, a title that acknowledged he was the second coming of the great hegemon, Zhou Yu. While the northern warlords were locked in a bloody stalemate, Sun Ji had quietly and brilliantly built an empire in the south. The foundation for the Third Great Kingdom was now firmly in place. And so, the political landscape of China was irrevocably changed. The chaotic free-for-all of dozens of warlords was beginning to consolidate. 3 major powers were now emerging from the ashes of the Han. In the north, the cunning and pragmatic Cao was building a military machine of terrifying efficiency. In the heartland, the virtuous and compassionate Liu Bei held a precarious foothold, a symbol of Han loyalty. And now, in the south, the young and brilliant Sun Ji had established a secure and prosperous kingdom. Unbeknownst to them, the great rivalry that would define the next generation was taking shape. The stage was set, and the 3 pillars of the coming Three Kingdoms era were now standing.